Merry Christmas, guys. As a late Christmas present, Labour have announced that they're going to be creating their own alternative offshore processing plan to the Tories' Rwanda plan. Great news from the supposedly Progressive Party. This is obviously nothing new for them. There was originally a plan under the Blair administration to do offshore processing for asylum seekers in Tanzania, which a deal that never went through with the third country, which is ostensibly because they want to try and nullify conservative attacks from the right on immigration, despite the fact, they're 20 points ahead in the polls. They don't need to toe the conservative line on any of these issues, but they feel like they have to because this is the Labour right. This is what the Labour right are like, and this is what they'll do when they feel like they're completely unchallenged, because the morality of anything that's happening here is of no concern to these people. These people are ghoulish, and they've done it before, and they will do it again. All of that stuff, all of the jokes that I've made over the last 12 months about, more efficient and far more cost-effective offshore detention for refugees wasn't actually jokes. It was real Labour right policy that they'd been cooking up from the outset, and I was just clearly seeing into the future about what they were planning for the future of the country. The main differences with the Conservative Rwanda plan are that it's going to be an offshore processing place, so they go to there to get processed, and then they come back to then be put through the asylum claim system in the UK. So that's one thing that's slightly different to what they've got before in the Rwanda plan. But of course that costs even more money, so you have to send them both ways rather than just sending them one way, so that's not even more cost effective nonetheless, but be slightly more legal under the current restrictions that we have in terms of our international agreements. What this does remind me a lot of, it reminds me of the offshore processing centre in Nauru that Australia have, which essentially turned into a cash grab for friends of the governing party, the governing Liberal Party in Australia, and used it a way of being able to pump money from the state into the mates of they knew in the private sector, who then ran the processing centres in Nauru and also in Papua New Guinea, I believe, were the people who were the beneficiaries of these offshore processing centres. And given how friendly Labour is with the business sector at the moment, given how friendly they are with the people who've been giving them money, who've been giving Labour Together money, who the people that Rachel Reeves says that she wants to bring in, to crowd in, to look at things like policy, one will only expect that some grandee that has decided they're going to donate to the Labour Party in the run-up to the next election will be the one rewarded with the potential for this contract to do offshore processing in another country once they get into power and do their Rwanda replacement plan that they're planning at the moment, right? And if you support this, if you're one of the majority of people in the country who support the Rwanda plan and want to see some replacement, then, I'm sure you'll be very happy with this. But I personally have a conscience. I personally have a set of moral values, and this is something that I do not think is good, and I think is bad. I wasn't voting Labour already, but if you consider yourself some kind of moral person, some kind of genuinely moral, kind of left-wing progressive person, what the hell are you doing voting for the Labour Party? What's the point of this party? Honestly, you have to sell your soul to think that it's worth voting for these people at this point. Honestly, what are you doing? Genuinely, what are you doing? And I'm already waiting for people to come into my mentions and say, oh, well, he's just saying it, but he doesn't actually mean it. And then the second stage of denial will be, oh, well, he doesn't mean it, but that doesn't mean he's going to implement it. And the next stage is going to be, oh, well, he did implement it, but he didn't want to implement it. And then the final stage of denial will just be, oh, well, actually, no, it's fine, it's good policy, actually. I believe that now from the Starmerites, right? They'll suddenly change their actual political platform and moral scruples based upon whatever Starmer says, because these are fundamentally incurious people who don't actually have a personal set of ethics and will just literally say whatever the red team say is good, because that's a reflexive position that they believe, that red team good, blue team bad. That's the only position that makes sense in these people's heads, and they will reflexively just undermine their own moral scruples just to be able to fit whatever Keir Starmer has put in front of them, because again, these are deeply, deeply incurious people. I hope you're happy, everybody who continued to support this, who continues to give Labour lip service for what they've become, this supposedly progressive party. I hope you're happy with this neoliberal, ghoulish, anti-immigration, anti-human moral vacuum that it's become. I hope you're happy with yourselves. I look forward to them being in government. It's going to be miserable. I'm not going to vote for these. There's no way. Literally, there's no way. I would rather chew used medical syringes than vote for this political party. Merry Christmas.